I'm here with UFC fighter Modestas Bukauskus. Oh my God, Modestas, you're back.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. Two-time Cage Warriors champ, now two-time UFC fighter. Oh, crazy,
It was
crazy.
never in doubt, never in doubt. Tell me, you're wearing the hat. I should put one on myself just so.
Oh, that is sick. Look at that. Oh my gosh, matching and
That's
everything.
it. That's
Look at that. That wasn't
Corey's.
that wasn't planned, guys. That wasn't planned, guys. Oh,
So tell me. Well, we'll come on to the fight, but tell me how you found out that you had got the fight. I want to know everything.
so I'll tell you from the beginning, actually, the whole fiasco that ensued the last couple of days. So I was just training, just staying sharp, kind of managers just told me just stay ready, and then I got a message from him on Wednesday, and he said he messaged me in the middle of the day. He says, Cage Warriors have offered you a fight to defend your belt. And I said in on March 24th, and I said, uh, I mean, cool. Like if we need to defend it, like great. Like we'll do what we have to do. Obviously, I was hoping that the UFC would call, but I was like, but he
Yeah.
said, look, it's only 7 weeks away, so even if you get another big win, it's going to just add to your stock. So let's do it. And I was like, cool, no worries. He said, okay, cool. Let me get the contract
Who was
sorted,
the
and we'll.
opponent? Are we allowed to know?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I'll tell you off camera. Because I'm not
Okay.
100%. I'm not 100% sure if I'm allowed to say, but yeah, obviously,
Okay.
um, it would have been a great fight, regardless. But yeah, so that that happened. Then I went to training. I went to BST, did my thing, did my training. Got ready, like just did what I had to do. Got ready because I had to go sparring the next day, and then as I was driving home at like 10:30 at night. Obviously, I get home quite late from BST because it's in
Yeah.
Northampton. It's about an hour away, and it's an absolute ball ache where I live because there's just no signal anywhere. Like literally, we're like living the freaking sticks, like the forest. Like, do you know what I mean? You can get away with murder out here. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to give any bad ideas, but anyway. So, um, getting dark over here, aren't we? Anyways, so I just got to the part or I just was about to enter the part where there's no signal, and I got a video call from my manager, and at that point, I thought that for some reason he was going to tell me that for some reason the Cage Warriors fight had fell through, and that they were looking for another
Yeah.
opponent, or whatever. And I thought, oh, okay. So I just picked up the phone like very like nonchalant, like kind of, oh hey, how you doing? He's like, bro, what's your weight looking like?
Were you
And
driving?
yeah, I was driving. Yeah, so I pulled over.
Ah!
I put up, because like yeah, I was literally like I say about 5 minutes from my house. I pulled over like right before where the signal was going to cut out. So luckily, it like everything was all on point. Um, and then yeah, so he said, "What's your weight looking like?" I said, "Well, I'm not fat, so that's good. I've been training." And again, answering as if like I didn't really know what was happening. And then yeah, he goes, "Bro, you're going to Australia in 2 weeks. You're fighting Tyson Pedro." I was like, "Oh no way!" I was emotional. I would burst out into tears. Like this guy's sitting here on his phone, and I'm out here like freaking having waterworks like crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking screaming at my phone. Yeah, and that was that really. And then he says, "All right, do you want me to sign the contracts?" I'm like, "Bro, you go ahead. You sign those contracts."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, I got home, and then do you know what was funny? That my dad was like in because he had a bit of a long day. Rose was sitting in the sitting room, And like I came back because, like I said, I was quite emotional. So I was crying.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was all over the place. Like my heart was racing, and then I got to the sitting room and like I looked like I was quite devastated. So I was telling Rose like I need to talk
Oh,
to you, and she was like, "What? Like what's going on?" And then I tell my dad, and my dad's like, "Oh, what the fuck? My body is sore. Like, what? What do you?" He's like, "What do you want, basically?" Like, listen, he's like, I can handle you any other time, but not now. And I'm like, trust me, this is news you want to hear. And then yeah, I got them both in the and then I got them both in the sitting room and just yeah, like shouted like probably all my neighbors could hear me saying, "We're in the UFC, baby!" And then yeah,
oh,
I gave them both a massive hug, you know, and yeah, like yeah, it's just a good time to be alive. Like a lot
I
of
guess
hard
he
work,
thought it was worth
dedication.
getting out of bed for.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That even then at that point he didn't know what was going on, and then yeah, so it was a very it was more emotional, I think, even more so than when I first got the call. Like when I first got the call, I kind of it's kind of what I don't know. I can't exactly like it was a bit more kind of we knew that it was what was to be expected, like and I was kind of ready to do whatever. I was a bit younger, I was still 25, so at that point I was like I've got quite a long, I've got the world ahead of me. I've got the world at my feet, so I just can, but here obviously time is ticking, and then I went through a really bad injury. I'm thinking, have I got the attention enough? Like, have I done enough? And all you want to do like after being there is you just want to get back. So this time round it's like, and especially considering the thing I was saying to my manager was like I can't believe where we were 16 months ago, because that's how quick this happened.
Yeah,
Like, this is like
yeah,
unheard
I
of.
know.
I mean, from
Yeah,
September to the next September, I signed for my first fight back, and then from here until pretty much January, I would have fought now 3 times within the space of 4 months. So it's just mad how everything, like I said, but I knew I was ready. Um, like obviously I stayed sharp, I stayed dedicated, but it was a long road. Like that was what I think hit me the most, was that what the hell? Like I just can only imagine like what I was last year at the same time. I was distraught. I just had my second knee operation. I
yeah,
was I was in a bad place mentally. And I was just trying just to keep going and keep putting. I always knew I wanted this. I always knew that this is what I wanted, but I just to see how far that bloody mountain was to climb for me at that point was just like, oh, and
yeah,
you just had to just go day by day and just like kind of just let it happen. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't even think about what was
yeah.
going to happen. You just had to let what was happening day by day. But in actual fact, I think that was a very good lesson to learn, is that you need to go more day by day as opposed to kind of expecting certain things to happen. Just okay, like look, we're going to tackle it slowly and surely, and then we get to what we need to do. So yeah, the whole situation was mad. I'm still buzzing about it right now, but at the same time I know I've got a job to do. This is nothing different to what I have been doing, so I've been training and doing things accordingly. So
I wish I could go back and tell the you in September, what would it have been, 21,
yeah.
that like in less than a year and a half, you're going to be back in the UFC and you're going to be flying out to Australia. But I guess that going through hell kind of gives you that mental strength and that mental fortitude that is going to help you on this journey. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Well,
you're not even just back, like you're Tyson Pedro. Like I feel like you fought some really big names. Like who's anybody who watches the UFC know who Tyson Pedro is. Like you're on a
Mhm.
massive card, the Makachev
Yeah,
Volkanovski card,
Volkanovski
like,
card. Yeah,
and you're flying out to Australia, like, is just it's mental. How do you feel about going to Australia? Have you been to Australia before?
I've never been, but I tell you what, I looked at the weather and it said 38 degrees and sun. I'm like, I could use some of that. I could use some of that, Katie. Do you know what I mean? I need to get rid of some of this pale skin.
When are you flying off?
I do not, I do
When are you
not know,
flying out there?
I do not know that yet. So the amount of paperwork that had to be done within a short space of time also is quite vast. So I've been working on, and like visas and those kind of things for my corners and myself. So yeah, so
Who's
there's
going with
still,
you?
so this time around it would be just Will and my dad. um Danny's got like a load of obligations that need to happen, and obviously I completely respect and understand that he has to be here for those. um so yeah, it'll be my dad, Will, me. Nice.
think we might be back up.
Oh, boom. We're in. We're in. We're in.
Oh,
We're
I'm
in.
sorry. We were
No
just
worries. All
talking
good.
about you being out in the sticks, and then my internet goes down. Sorry.
Yeah. No. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
But sorry, we were talking about you being on the Volkanovski card and just flying out to Australia,
Yeah.
like, and who was in your corner?
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, so I've got my dad, Will, and myself. Danny would have come, but he's got some obligations that he needs to do, which is completely understandable. I completely respect that, and like I say, I know his heart and soul will be with me inside that cage, as he always is, and he always gives me amazing advice. He always helps with the training, so and now I've got Dad and Will, the freaking boys. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be a sick trip to Australia. I think it'll be an absolutely amazing experience for Will as well. Being a young lad, going to see a UFC event at at a big on a big card, on a numbered card, in a different country. So it's going to be
yeah.
great. And I've never been to Australia before, so I'm just hoping that the creepy crawlies just stay well away from me. Do you know what I mean? I'll be happy in my little corner. You know what I mean? Ain't no spiders or freaking whatever the hell is out there is going to get near me. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, it's exciting. I'm just excited to be in a new environment. I don't know. I love fighting abroad. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love fighting in London, but like fighting abroad, there's just something about it. It's just the feel of just being in another country, going, I don't know, you're going to war in another country. Like, I don't know, it's just something like freaking primal. You know what I mean? I'm like going on horseback with my freaking sword, and do you know what I mean? Like going across lands and like killing people. Do you know what I mean? So it's,
And you're
as
you're
brutal.
yeah, you're going
Yeah,
into enemy territory as well. Like, how does that feel?
I love it. I love it. Like I couldn't have it any other way. I was like, the crowd's going out to boo you. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. It just kind of like it gives you even more energy. Do you know what I mean? To just like show him, like, anywhere you go, you got to earn respect, right?
Mm,
Like when I went to Brazil the first time to do some training at Team Nogueira, you have to earn their respect by
yeah.
showing out who you are. So it makes you step up that even the next level, which is obviously what I'm going to do in a couple of weeks' time.
What do you think of Tyson as an opponent?
I mean, of course, he's very credible, very well known name, beating some very good guys. He's a very all rounded fighter. What can I
Yeah.
say? I do feel there are areas that I am better than him at. But he's good. Like obviously, this is
Yeah.
the UFC. Everyone's going to be really good. So at the end of the day, it's just who's better on the day, and whose skill sets can outsmart the other skill sets of the other person. And but yeah, overall, I think I go out there aggressively. I will definitely get the job done.
I was shocked that he's got fewer fights than you on his record. Like, I mean, I guess I must have seen most of his, but like,
In all fairness to him, he was out for 3 years due to
yeah.
injury.
And I didn't
So
realise it was that
yeah.
long. I knew he had a bad injury and was out for a long time, but I had no idea it
Yeah.
was that long.
Yeah. It was from my understanding, because I was wondering, like, because I saw him fight quite a load of times. Because obviously these are you're looking at the names that potentially are in the UFC pool. Like this was before I got to the UFC, and I was kind of on the verge of getting signed. I was kind of like looking at the pool of fighters, and then I noticed that he hadn't fought in ages. And then I actually saw on his Instagram that he sustained an injury. But in all, fair play to him. He's recovered. He's done all the appropriate stuff to get back. Same like I have, and
Yeah.
here we are about to throw down in Australia for his third fight back, I believe, which will also be
Yeah.
my third fight back.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm just buzzing. So tell me about the jet lag and like what time, Perth time, will you be fighting?
I have no
No
idea.
idea.
Like
What's
genuinely,
So what is your
yeah.
plan whenever there's time difference then? How do you make sure that you're
Uh,
like in the right?
in like genuinely, I've never had an issue with time difference. I've never had an
Really?
adrenaline. I've never had an adrenaline dump. I've never had like, oh, I have to climatize to a particular. Obviously, when I fought in Abu Dhabi, you have to try and train it early in the morning because that's when you're going to fight. But like I've been fighting at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I've not been training at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I've been doing my training sessions, but I've been just working everything, just feeling my body, going to sleep at the right time. Do you know what I mean? And just feeling my body. So realistically, I know I will have to do some sort of climatization, but nothing mad. I know I'm always going to be on point no matter what it is that I do. So even when I go out there, I'll cure. I stay up the night before the flight and stuff like that. So I use a couple little tricks of the trade. I don't eat on the flight either. This one I'm probably going to have to, if it's 24
Yeah.
hours. But yeah, so whatever it is, we must adapt and overcome, which is
Tell
the
me they
plan.
fly in your business. Surely you've got to have a
Nah, it's
bed.
economy. It's economy,
It
Katie.
can't be. It can't be.
Yeah, no, it's economy.
Is it
Listen, when I make
really?
when I make it big time, I'll be able to go out first class. I might even have a private jet, but for now, I've got to work my way up. I've not made my stamp yet. When I do that, then those things can happen. But for
Oh,
now, I just
you're a tall guy. That's a
yeah,
long
I know.
way.
I'm gonna putting my feet up on someone's head. You know what I mean? So we'll make it work out.
Oh my God, that's just. Oh, I hope you go out early because, like, even just recovering from the flight, that is a long way. Like, and
Yeah, yeah.
for
I'll,
somebody who's used to being active and stuff, that's a long time. I know you can walk around the plane and stuff, but
I'm gonna
just
be doing shadow boxing in the plane. People are gonna think I'm freaking nuts. I'll be out here in the middle of the corridor, just shadow boxing, like kicking everywhere. They're like, "What is going on with this guy?" Almost just took this woman's head off, and it's oh, sorry.
that's unbelievable. And is this your first UFC fight in front of a crowd? I couldn't remember you.
Yes,
Oh my
Katie.
God, like.
Yes.
Wow. So like, even that is just, I know it's going to be a hostile crowd. I can't imagine that the Australians, though, are like the Brazilians. Maybe they will be. Maybe they'll surprise me. But like,
Uh,
just to
yeah, I
have a
don't.
crowd there, like, I just think is going to be
Yeah, I
amazing.
know. Do you know what? I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be so bad in terms of maybe like people going mad, but they're obviously going to boo. But
Yeah.
listen, who cares? At the end of the day, look, we got a guy in front of us. Yeah, he's going to use that as energy, but I'm going to use them as energy as well. So it's gonna work both ways, and that's why it's going to be a hell of an explosive matchup. This is the fight that everyone's going to, it's the top of the prelims. It's going to be what everyone's going to be watching. So you got to go out there and put on a show. So let's go
Yeah.
and throw down. Do you know what I mean?
Tell me what's different about your mindset going in this time around than the other UFC fights.
I think I've been working with a guy called Julian, and he's been amazing. And not only that, I think that along with just my dark side coming through, because of what I've been through, I've had to develop a bit of a thicker skin and a bit of a different mentality. I will always be polite. I'll always be nice. I'll always, crack a couple of jokes and be cool with the people that I love. But when it comes down to things that I need to go and do business with, or places where someone's trying to take advantage of me, I ain't letting that happen. It's the difference between, as Will puts it, he says it the best, but blue lightsaber, red lightsaber. Do you know what I mean? You got to have a bit of both. You got to be purple. You got to be in the middle. You can't be too blue lightsaber. You can't be too red lightsaber. You can't be like completely over your head. But then again, you can't be too nice. You got to be. It's just the best saying of life. You know what I mean? There was a quote that I found where it said, "For the beautiful flowers to grow to reach the heaven, the roots must also grow down to the depths of hell." So you got to have both things. So that's where my mentality is different. I'm not. Uh, Although I am nice, I now understand that I'm going to war, not to freaking have a tea party inside there. Do you know what I'm saying?
The way you walked out for your last fight, I've never seen you like that. Like, it was pretty scary, like, even
Yeah,
watching,
and you ain't the first one to say that. Like I've had a couple of people say that to me. Yeah,
you just didn't
so
look like you, like, because I only know lovely Modestas, like, and you
that
were
was the
ready to
Baltic
kill a
Gladiator.
man.
That was the Baltic Gladiator. Do you know what I mean? My alter ego finally stepped out of its shadow.
Wow.
Uh,
Well, I look forward to seeing him again in 2 Saturdays' time. It's only 2 weeks away. That's
I know.
oh my god, 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's mad.
I
Absolutely
ju
mad how quick everything turned around. It's just, and look, I wanted to stay active. Like people, do you know what's mad? People like take that so much time off. Like I got straight back into training. I'm in shape. You know, I can go 3 rounds, absolutely no problem. Do you know what I mean? This is I've been training for 5 rounds. So this is
yeah,
mad, just that how like you've got to be in shape. You've got to be ready to go. You've got to be, you've got to be like my manager said, stay ready. Don't when the
yeah,
opportunities comes, you need to be good to go. And that's why this worked. If I was not in shape, I mean, yeah, I would have maybe took the fight, but it ain't gonna be, just because of how I'm mentally. But like now,
yeah.
I'm actually fully trained. I've just finished the fight, so my mentality's still there. My everything that gone from that last fight that was there is still in me. Like in terms of my strength, my cardio, my skill. So it only builds. It only builds.
And he mentioned the weight when he called you, and obviously you were expecting to fight in March, not in
Yeah.
February. So how are you where you'd like to be, or
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gravy. Do you know what I mean? I'm like I could probably have some gravy if I wanted to. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I'm just completely on point. You know, everything's ready to go. I can make weight next week if I needed to. That's how good of
oh,
on weight I am. I can make it next week and I'm doing it in 2 weeks. Yeah.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you about some other fights before we go. Obviously, when we were at your last fight, we found out that Christian Leroy Duncan was going to the UFC. Well deserved. He's going to be
Mm-hmm.
hopefully on the London card, although I haven't seen that announced yet. Um, but that obviously leaves his Cage Warriors belt vacant. Your good friend Will Curry, that you spoke about, cornering you in the UFC. For me, he's got to be one half of that title fight. Who do you think
I,
he should fight?
I I'm not really 100% sure. Um, like I say, I pay attention mainly to my division.
Yeah,
And I just know that the way Will's training now, he's going to go out there and absolutely smash with it. Like there's certain things that we're doing that potentially he wasn't doing before, or and he's been such a good training partner to me, helping me. Like he's training with me at the end of the day. Like we're both like pushing each other, trying to get each other better, working our mindsets, working our bodies. Hanging out with each other, just creating that bond. That I feel it's like literally like my little brother. Do you know what I mean? So, um, I I I think whoever he's going to face, and if it is for the title, if it isn't, he's gonna kill it. No matter what it is, a spectacular performance is in sight for my boy Will.
yeah, totally agree. I really hope that he's on that London card, Cage Warriors card, the day before the UFC. All those UFC eyes on him, like I don't think it would be very long before he's joining you, but
Yeah.
yeah, that would be good. Also in the UFC, your division, there's a new champion. I take it you watched that fight.
Yep. 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 It
What
was
did you
a
think?
it was an amazing performance. I mean, what I found that was very neat of him was that he fought the majority of that fight from orthodox, and he's not an orthodox fighter. He's a southpaw, which just shows you need to be switching stances in this day and age,
Yeah,
because that seemed to have caught Glover off guard a little bit.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a great fight, but clearly Jamal was in control. But bloody hell, Glover is a dog. Oh my God, like an absolute animal, like just walking through punches, throwing it back, caught Jamal with some good shots.
yeah,
It was a fight, but it makes the division interesting again, which is, well, it's already been in stream for quite a while now with the
Yeah, it's
top
changed
contenders.
hands
So
a bit. Yeah.
yeah, so got to keep it interesting. So now they've got another one added to the division, which is going to make it even more interesting. So it's yeah, nah, but that fight was absolutely amazing, and hats off to Jamal, amazing performance,
Yeah.
and
I
Glover as well. Bloody Glover did great. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Great fight.
he's, like, just so tough, so
Mm.
unbelievably tough, but that division is so open, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Very
it's
open.
not yeah, not I don't think you'd need to string many fights in a row along to, like, be ranked, and then like, it's all to play like, when you think what, Jamal was ranked as well, like, it's
Yep.
just, a
Yeah, yeah,
bit
yeah.
of a crazy division, like,
No,
it's
no. Trust me, and
you know how much things can change in just over a year.
oh, trust me. If anyone knows about that, I do. So it's mad. What you think one day is going to completely change the other day. What people were saying to me a year ago is completely different to what they're saying to me now. It's just I just think it's so mad, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The people who have loved me and care about me, such as yourself and people that are close around me, that was what got me through all of that. And it was actually it was so inspiring and motivating for me just to prove you guys right.
Yeah.
Prove you guys right. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, enough of, like, it's all good to, it gives me that fire to prove people wrong, but like, all of you guys that have supported, but, and I know who the real ones are, Katie, do you know what I mean? And like me and Will have always said, you're one of the real ones. And, it's just amazing to see how, but I just know now that that's how the world works. And listen, people enjoy violence and people enjoy winners, and you've got to do both in order to succeed out here. So that's what I'm going to go and do.
It's true, it's true. John Jones, I know you've trained with him before. He's obviously stepping up and fighting Cyril Gahn. Well, what do you make of that fight?
I think it's an amazing matchup. I do think John Jones will pull it out of the bag
I
because
think he's just too well-rounded.
yeah. So I mean, Cyril Gahn got taken down by Francis Ngannou,
Mm,
fairly easily and was controlled on the floor. John Jones obviously has more wrestling pedigree, has been training jiu-jitsu much longer. He's big
yeah,
and strong. So Cyril Gahn's got very agile, versatile striking, so that may cause a bit of an issue. But a guy that can switch stances, can throw all those shots as well himself, can take you down and control you on the floor. It's going to be I think that'll be a very hard fight for Garn, but
I
it'll be
totally
interesting
agree.
because if potentially Garn can work something off of the stand up, it'll be an interesting fight for sure. But I think Jones will have it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But I guess we haven't seen Jones a heavyweight and see how he moves
Yeah,
around. But that was exactly my thought. And even though Ngannou wrestling would have been a surprise, wrestling's not something. Well, you would know, like wrestling's not something you can pick up in one fight camp. Like even if he
yeah,
works on it 100% of the time between now and fighting Jones. I just think, and Jones is so good at, well, he used to try and beat people at their own game. If he brings that, then maybe things could go wrong for him. But I just think he's so well rounded.
yeah,
He's got so many tools in his.
yeah. No,
But
100%. That'll be a great fight. I mean, what a fight to be made. Do you know what I mean? From the sad news of obviously Ngannou leaving, but
I'm
what a
gutted
great
that's
way.
not the fight. I would have
Yeah,
loved to have
yeah.
seen John Jones and Garnu.
Hey, listen, everything happens for a reason, right, Katie? So maybe this is the way the universe wanted it to go for both of those men as well. So yeah,
Yeah. And the last one I wanted to ask you about, just because I love this story and I know he's signed to your management as well. Brandon Moreno becoming
animal.
the undisputed champ again. Like
What a performance!
his story
What
from
a
being
performance!
cut by the UFC, getting on the mic, telling everyone that he would be back, coming back, like just the first quadrilogy ever in the UFC. Oh, he was just outstanding, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was absolutely amazing. And that's inspiring for me as well, Katie, because you know for a guy to go to the highs of the highs, and then, in all fairness to him, he still racked up some wins. He only just lost like I think a very close decision and got cut. And then he won the LFA belt, and
Yeah.
then went straight back again on a short notice fight, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking that's correct. He took the opportunity. He was prepared. He did what he had to do,
Sounds
and this is it.
familiar.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, look, a lot of people would not want to take this fight. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Tyson Pedro is an animal, but guess what? So am I. Do you know what I mean? You gotta believe in yourself in this game. The way Brandon Moreno believed in himself, and look how he's got the whole of Mexico behind him. Do you know what I mean? He's an animal. Like, he's and again, he's the sweetest, kindest guy
Yeah.
that playing Lego
Lego
and stuff like
building.
that. He's got his own personality. This is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. This is what makes him so unique and special. And then he has the edge when it comes into the fight, and he's a proper dog. And it's amazing to see him come back from his adversity, and like the videos that keep playing. He goes, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. You know what I mean? And like I say, having him as well under the same management as me, it gives me inspiration that these are things that I can achieve also. And I was put in a very bad spot, a very kind of a spot where a lot of people thought I was done. Like, I've said this before, everyone thought that Modestas was through, he was finished, he was never going to come back. And then to come back and then win by emphatic KO for his second fight back, do you know what I mean? And then now's the opportunity. Now's where the preparation meets the opportunity, and you've got to be ready to go. This is why opportunities like this, if you look at it in a okay, oh, but we haven't had a full fight camp, or oh, we haven't, this is a very tough opponent. Oh, he's been in the top 15. Okay, great, whatever. At the end of the day, you got to go out there and perform on that day. It doesn't matter about anything that's happened beforehand or whatever. It's like, okay, if you're ready, you're fit, and you're good to go, why the hell would you not take a fight? Oh, my record this, my record that. Life is about taking risks. Life is about putting yourself under immense pressure. That's how diamonds are made. Do you know what I mean? So that's how you have to approach these, and that that fuels me, that excites me to have a big challenge ahead of you, where everyone counts you out. Okay, cool, bring it, let's go. So that's a dangerous man right there. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I've got a dangerous opponent in front of me, but I'm dangerous also. So that's why those guys collide. Explosion, Katie.
100%. You will see that there's a spare space on the wall behind me. This is for my Modestas shirt.
Oh, I got you, Katie. Don't you worry. It'll be signed, plaqued, all that good stuff. I got
I
you.
can get it. I can get it framed. I'm saving that spot for like
The
yeah.
first win. Trust me,
That's
I,
you
I
going
got
up
I
there.
got you covered, Katie. I got you covered, Katie. Don't you worry.
Well, we've got one comment before we go. Lee
Yep.
says, "Good advice. Remember that koala bears can give you chlamydia." So that's just some helpful
Thank
advice
you.
to
I'll
take
I'll
with you
I'll
to Australia.
I'll try and stay away from the koala bears. I appreciate that. I mean,
I don't know how you need to interact with them to catch that. It's probably better not to ask. That's probably
well,
for
I'll,
another
I'll I'll
show.
try as best as I can not to go around fondling koala bears whilst I'm out there. Do you know what I mean? I might get arrested before that anyway. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, amazing. I honestly could not be any happier for you. This is, oh, and I do think we said it at the time, but it must be so hard when you're going through hell to think like this. But this is all part of like the most amazing comeback story,
Oh,
and
trust me.
we can feel it building, and this
Well,
is
look,
just the beginning again.
well, this is it. I've been given my second chance. This time I ain't going to blow it up. This time I've learnt the lessons. This was all actually part of the universe. This was part of it. For me to be
Yeah.
writing stuff on the wall and for me to be able to tick it off now, all of that had to be done in order for that stuff to be working now. Do you know what I mean? For all of that to come to fruition now. So, and with a completely different mindset, with much better skills, um, you know, much better facial hair. The whole thing, the whole package has just sort of come together where I'm much more mature in my way of thinking, my way of training, you know. So, you know, this was the. Do you know what's mad? Yeah, I remember we chatted. We just talked briefly at York Hall, and I don't know if you saw my face then, but I was like this. I
Yeah.
was like proper down in the dumps. Do you know what I mean? Like, just think. Like, I was speaking to Nathaniel Wood, and you know, we had a conversation. And you know, he's a very nice guy and stuff like that. But you know, even the fact that you know, I at that time, I'm thinking to myself, I was there, I had that opportunity, and now I don't even know where I'm going. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like that was such a from there to now completely different. But this is all part of the journey. I'm glad
Yeah.
we learned those lessons, and we're going to go forward into this new year even more of a bang. We went out with the last year in a bang. Now it's time to start it with a bang. Do you know what I'm saying? And guess
Oh,
what? My
100%.
birthday is February 10th, and I'm fighting on the I think it's the 11th or the 12th. I don't know what time
Yeah.
difference time thing. But anyways, so my birthday, 2 days. And do you know what's mad? Do you know what? I'll show you. I'll show you, Katie. So let me find. I don't know how you change this. Anyways, whatever. I'll try and do it like this. I don't know if you can see it, but
Oh, nearly. I don't know what Yes,
back in you.
yes.
So yeah. So back in UFC by 29 years old, right? So we've already made one
Wanna
of them
be the
happen.
you wanna be the champ by when? 31, did that say?
31. Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
So
man.
do you know what I mean? Like this is what I'm saying. Like think. Oh, sorry, I've got to turn it around. My bad. My bad. Anyways, but we look. We've made one of them happen. Now we can make other things happen. So it's just about dedication, faith, and also, do you know? I'll say one more thing. Sorry, I'm going off. I'm going off on
I
one.
love it.
But you know, I think as well. Like winning has no loyalty to anyone, right? So the way I think of it now is like I used to stress myself on like a lot of things. I train my ass off. Like will vouch for me that I train extremely hard. But at the same time, you know, you've got to enjoy the journey and you've got to enjoy the life that you are living in order to get you make your sacrifices and you get enjoyment from making those sacrifices. But at the end of the day, I could have, for example, been partying this whole time and still go out and win, or I could have been training but for 12 weeks and go out and win. At the end of the day, it's what you do on the day that matters. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. You could have trained with the best guys. You could have done everything like to the T, and you could still go and lose. So, do you know what? The best way to do it is to make sure that you're on point with everything. You're on point with your weight. You're on point with your with doing your training sessions. You've got the cardio down. You're doing what it is that you're supposed to do. But of course, enjoy yourself. You've got to enjoy the journey. This
yeah,
journey. Do you know what I mean? I've only got like I don't know how many years left in this game, but I want to make sure I get the most out of it. I've only I've yet to tap into um the life and the things that I want to do, not only for myself but for my family. And I know all that will come if I just go out there with like I don't know. It's just weird because the last two fights that I genuinely felt like it was my calling, that I was enjoying myself. Having Will there with me as well, like in fight week, telling me like playing warrior music in my car and telling me like we're going on horseback with freaking with invading their town and we've got to kill them all, and like saying like the conquerors of Genghis Khan are like they just take over. Do you know what I mean? They just rummage a village, and do you know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, even though it sounds like absolutely psycho, yeah, like these are like the
I
things
feel
that are
like he was
needed.
born in the wrong century, like,
Yeah,
he literally
Joe.
should have been a gladiator.
But exactly, you're fighting for your freedom. Do you know what I mean? This is what we're
Yeah,
fighting for, freedom. So, anyways, I get so much inspiration and encouragement and vibes from that I can just tell that even when we go into Australia with that kind of mindset and us being in a different country in a different setting, having these conversations, it's just going to be it's going to be a madness, an
oh, it is
absolute
gonna be a
madness.
madness. How many fights have you signed for?
For
Oh, amazing. I really hope we get to see you fight in London at some point. I just don't know, like, if we're gonna have to wait another year for a London card, like, or maybe we might
yeah,
get one
well,
in the summer. You never know. There's so much
depending if
UK talent now.
Oh my God. And do you know what? There's a lot of guys that haven't signed for that particular card that technically it would be good to see them fight in London. So,
Yeah,
okay, my chance didn't happen this time to fight in London. I mean, I freaking love the fact that I'm fighting in Australia, but
yeah,
I think that's sick. But yeah, like fighting in front of the hometown, that will wait, but that is still something that is going to happen. I can guarantee that. And I think especially if the UFC London show comes out with the same sort of vibes that it had the previous shows that of late, I think they'll definitely want to bring it back again. So yeah, I mean it's a big event. I mean Leon Edwards, and Usman free. Like what an amazing like way to start off the year in London. So we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I've got my eyes zoned in and dialed in on Mr. Pedro, and then yeah, that's it. That's all that matters right now. Go and take
yeah.
out Pedro.
Well, I wish you all the very, very best with the end of your. I don't even know if it's a camp. You're always just
Always
in the
training.
same training zone. So, I wish you the best preparation possible for these 2 weeks. And yeah, I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait. My face hurts from smiling.
So is mine, Kate. Look, our cheeks and our jawlines are gonna be. Do you know what I mean? They're gonna be
I could
next
do
level
with the
from all of
help
it. All of,
to be
oh,
fair.
come on now, come on now, come on now, Katie,
Oh,
you gorgeous woman.
Uh, thank you. High on life, I think you are right now. I,
Yeah, it's the
I,
coffee actually, probably.
yeah, the coffee. I just can't wait. I can't believe I knew we were going to be having this exact conversation. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy that it's here. You've done like you just deserve it so much. You've been through so much and you just handled it all with class, and it
And I,
was
I appreciate that. That really does mean a lot. And there's one other thing. Do you know what? That it's just mad as well. You know that video that I posted. Credit to as well Fighting Productions for making that video,
yeah,
because in my head, like I said, I just visualized this video being made, and like the way I visualize it in my head is how they made it. Like it
really,
look like genuinely, I'm like, what the hell? Like this is exactly how I expected this video to look, with the music and everything. And then I was thinking that shortly after this video is made, that's what's going to give me the little nut. And do you know what I mean? We got Mystic Mac over here. Do you know what I'm saying?
it's such a good story though. It's so marketable for the UFC. Like I can imagine them using clips of that, the way they do with Brandon Moreno, and like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the way it's cut to this, and then
yeah.
look at him now, cut to back then when things were in despair. Look at him now. Like,
And now all we got to do is get the job done. Simple, simple.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And we don't have to wait very much longer because it's 2 Saturdays from today.
Yeah,
Like,
mad, mad,
unbelievable.
absolutely mad.
I can't wait. Modestas, thank you so, so much for joining me.
No
I
worries.
honestly just wish you all the positive vibes
Thank you
and
so much.
everything.
I really appreciate that. It's always absolutely amazing speaking to you, Katie. Thank you so much for taking your time out as well to speak to me. It's always amazing. Sending you much love to you and your family, and we shall reconvene in a couple of weeks.
We definitely will. Please come on and tell me all about the win and how you celebrated and what
Hundred
Australia
percent,
was like. I can't wait.
100%,
Thank you so
100%.
much.
Nice one.